Jennifer with the Watercolor Girlfriend again. Thanks for joining us today. This is what we want to work on. A nice, simple landscape, but you can also see we're going to work on a bunch of different ways to make texture and create some interest in a watercolor painting. So we're going to work on some washes that we have here, and then we're going to work on some splatter that's, you know, kind of placed exactly where you'd like it, not just all over. And then we're also working on some shadow areas. Can you see that in there? So you'll use the same color, but you'll use different tones to create some shadow areas and, you know, my favorite word, interest in your painting. And using some shadow like I showed you there can start to elevate your painting from maybe a more basic look to something that has a little more of a professional feel. You know, you're starting to get into something that creates a little more depth into your paintings. So as you saw there, we started with some green and we're going to work into the sky in the blue, and then we're going to work through with the orange and some of the purples so you can see that come together. I hope this will inspire you to do some landscape paintings of your own and work with your watercolors and just have fun. Okay, we'll head over. We've laid down the section for the grass area, and now we're going to work real loosely to fill in a large section for the sky, and we'll leave some areas for clouds. And I left a section there in the middle for the mountain area I'm going to fill in as well. And it's a real fun way to work. But here you can see I'm lifting. It's called lifting, and I'm taking away some of the color. I'm just wiping on it on another cardstock and probably, you know, like a cotton rag. You can also use paper towel, but I do encourage you to use something that you can wash and not have in the trash. Little blotting can help you create some white areas in your cloud locations. And all those things put together can give you a nice balanced look for your clouds instead of just kind of one appearance of, you know, if blotting or lifting, if you incorporate all of it, it'll give you a nice appearance on your painting. Then I'm going to add in a little more of this lovely blue, so it gives some shadow to the clouds, some definition to the cloud area, but also my favorite, some interest in that space. I'm not adding smiley faces there, but I am putting some color down for the cloud so you can see that it's, you know, it's not a solid mass of cloud. It has, just like when you look in the sky, it's often got some really white areas and some areas that you can still see the sky through, and adding some more color so it's not just one tone of blue sky. It has different levels of blue, but I am using the same blue. So now I want to fill that white space area in for the mountain space, but I do want to dry it a little bit. Sometimes the way I dry things is I just let them sit and I wander off and do something else. I'll put one of my fans in front of it, but I wanted to get going, so I'm using my hair dryer. This one has a setting where you can use hot and you can use cool, but still provides a lot of air movement. Just like a fan would. You could use, you know, it would have more of a cool air, whatever the air is in your room. Okay, so that's drying nicely. Ooh, in and out with the camera. And I want to make sure the edges are also addressed. There is a little bit on the right hand side there, but I think that'll be just fine. Okay, So now we're going to do the purple and orange areas. Did the blue, and we're going to progress into this purple space. And a purple of your choice. And just drag it across this. It's nice to leave that white area, then that purple will really pop better. If you put the green right to the blue and there wasn't a white area, it would start to look a little muddy. It would start to look a little, kind of, it just wouldn't give you the sense that there's different areas in your painting. And this allows you to really mix with the color as one color, lightening it with just some water, and then making darker areas with just a drier brush and paint. So we're getting near the bottom there. I want to make a little shadow. And then I'm going to fill in the shadows of the actual mountain. It's real simple. Just kind of look at the contour of what you have and then imagine where you would want those mountains to be. Where do you want those light sides, the left side of that mountain? And where do you want the shadow? It would be on the opposite side, so it gives you the appearance that it has more dimension than flat. And you can tell that the light is coming from the left side. Now you could explore that more with your grassy areas as well. We didn't do that too much here, but you certainly could add in some more shadowy areas in your grass areas. We do have some highlights where you see the white area. So now I want to just get the orange in the grass section. So I want to make sure I block off the top. That's just with one of my, I call them my wipey pads, but that's where I wipe excess paint. And later you can use those to make greeting cards. Moving right along, I'm going to get a lot of paint on our brush and a lot of water, and then just flick the brush so that you get a bunch of smaller and larger paint bits, watered down paint. And you can see that, it gives you kind of the impression, right, that there's flowers. And it's a fun way to make this kind of a setting instead of getting real detailed. So I made a lot of small brush, large, small spatters. And now I'm going to come in and make larger. But I want them a little more strategically placed. So I am just using a brush instead of specifically using more splatter. I'm going to let you watch that for a little bit. Okay, so we're wrapping up the orange, large petal, large flower areas. And I want to use some yellow, darker yellow as well to incorporate, a different color into this space. You could use a brighter yellow. You could even use maybe even a red. I think that would be lovely. And it can give you some more dimension to the flowers without, making too much detail, keeping it loose, not spending too much time stressing over it. And you see I'm going to use some lighter yellow too. I think that brings out the flowers a little more and, gives a little more layer to what the flowers look like in person, some yellow and some orange. And you can get as detailed or as loose as you want. And we're kind of wrapping that up as well. I like how that looks. Just a little more in the front here. Again, I'm not getting too intricate, just kind of filling in some of the areas. And I'm actually working on the green spaces instead of right over the orange. Gives kind of two different flower feels, not just one type of flower in that area. Great, so that came together. Just want to clean off my brush a little bit, and then I'm going to pull off the tape. I'll zoom in a little here so you can see what the water texture, the paint looks like. I'm really pleased with how this turned out, and you can use it. You can take pictures that you've had on trips, that you've taken on vacations, and then do this at home. You can make up something. You can find something on the internet. You can take a picture. You could do it live while you're right there to make a travel kit and take some paintings with you. There we go. Looks nice. It's got a nice area around it, just a little tape, and this is just in my watercolor sketchbook. I'm going to get rid of some of the areas that went over on the side, and this is called scrubbing. Just get a little of that watercolor off if you find that important. You can frame this, mat it. You can take a picture of it and put it on your digital frame. That's always a fun idea if you have one of those. A painting from of a memory from your latest vacation or trip. It's a fun way to treasure those memories other than only a photo. And again with the hairdryer a little bit, and then you want to make sure you sign all your work. Just in the corner, I use a little ink pen. You could use pencil, however you want to do that, and put the year, and you're all set. Hope you enjoyed that. Happy painting. Great, I hope you enjoyed that and it inspires you to create some landscape paintings. I think we did that in under 20 minutes, but it incorporated a lot of different ways to make a landscape painting, lots of different ways to use your brush work and use your paint itself, and incorporate different colors, but not too extreme. You even used a little purple in different ways to create some shadow and only one color. I think that's really cool how you don't have to bring in some browns, you didn't have to bring in some blacks to create some shadow and depth and structure to your mountains. And it also receded. You notice that space was a little bit smaller, so it pushes it kind of to the back, made the green area look bigger and closer because it's in the front, but it's also a little bit larger, and it kind of leads you to the back of the painting. So I hope you enjoyed that. You can follow me here. I'd love that. And check out the next watercolor painting. I think I'm going to do an abstract with sort of a dragonfly theme, and something I've never really explored before, something really different than what I've normally do. So it's important to experiment and try new things. So I will be doing that. And follow me on Instagram. I like to post over there so you can see the work finished and maybe a little closer up, and we can follow each other and chit chat about watercolor painting and all the topics around that. Okay, enjoy. Happy painting.